tractor just clearing some land that hasn't been cleared in probably 2 seasons now because I was pregnant and then I had Toby, and I was on the tractor up until I was about 7 months pregnant, and then I just couldn't do it anymore. And so that part of the property kind of got out of hand, kind of got away from me. I actually call it the rock paddock because it's got like tons of limestone and different kinds of rocks in there. And we had horses in there a while back, but we don't have horses in there now. There's tons of wild elderberry and flowers growing in there. And so I was on the tractor and I just scored up a bunch of it. Isn't it so pretty? There's so much more there, and I'll be able to harvest a bunch more throughout the year, but this is kind of my first pickings. I got one little floret last week, but it's really starting to bloom and just come into flower. And this is the perfect time when you can harvest it, when all these little, most of the bell, you would call it, on this branch, the little blooms are open is when you want to pick it. Of course, you don't want to pick all of them off the tree because you want to leave some to turn into berries, because otherwise you won't have berries. But I'm going to go harvest this and dry it for use in teas and stuff like that, as a very powerful antiviral and immune support tonic. Like I said, you can make teas with it. The elderflower is quite pleasant. It's very sweet and just light, and it's just amazing in tea. I infuse honey with it a lot. It's just really delicious, and it's just one of my favorite ways to enjoy tea and to enjoy honey. And yes, tea, honey, you probably could make a tincture out of it. I haven't tried it before just because the elderflower is so delicate, so I don't know how long it would stay. I've never found my flowers that I do dry and store in a ball jar in my herb cabinet under my stairwell to last more than 1 season before they start molding. They're just really delicate, so they're really great to make tea and to dry for future tea. You can make fritters with them. I've never tried it before, but I've heard of that. I should try that. And my favorite way is to infuse it into honey. I mean, not to mention, just to see the elderflowers in your teacup, it's like so beautiful. I just can't describe it. You have to infuse some elderflower into honey yourself to understand just getting those beautiful little tiny perfectly white pure blooms in the bottom of your tea and just drinking that. It's just absolutely amazing. Toby's still sleeping right now, so actually we'll show you guys how I actually harvest these. So normally what I'll do is I'll like lay these out like on a cookie tray or like a pizza tray or something like that, and sometimes I will let them dry a little bit first before detaching them, and sometimes I won't. It kind of just depends, because sometimes it's easier. It really just depends. But all parts of the plant except the flowers and the berries are toxic, so you want to do your best to make sure you don't get any of these little stems on the undersides of the flowers into what you're going to save in your jars. And the easiest way, this is called the umbrella, I don't know if y'all can see, of the elderflower, is you kind of just take your fingers and you turn it upside down and you kind of just go like this, and you see how the flowers are gently falling. And like I said, the best time to do it is like when the flower is like not really wet, but when it's a little dry. And actually this flower right now is at that point because if you can see, some of the blooms are already falling off, so it was starting to die back a little bit. So this is the perfect time to do this fresh. If this was not as far along as it is now, I'd probably give it a day or two to dry a little bit on the umbellas, and then I'd start doing this. And it does take a long time. It's kind of tedious, but it's definitely worth it. And you'll do this for all of them. And then I keep it out on the cookie sheet and I let it dry for probably a good week or more underneath my cellar. It's cedar. And then I bottle them up in ball jars to use or infuse in honey. If y'all have any questions on when to harvest it or when to kind of pluck these flowers off or how to pluck it off, leave them below in the comments and I'll get back to you. And you're most likely not going to get every single bloom off of the umbrella of the elderflower, just because they're so delicate. Sometimes not all of them will detach. In previous video, y'all probably remembered that my son tried to stick one of the leaves in his mouth. And I showed y'all how you ID the plant, but I probably need to insert that into this video just so you know what you're looking for, so you don't accidentally harvest something and ingest something that's gonna be not good. And if you don't have access to any elderflower, elderberry bushes, you can always just purchase them. Most likely I've done that in the past. I purchased the berries and the flowers when I didn't harvest as much for that year, and I'll definitely provide links below in the video so y'all can get that if you want to. Bad, I shouldn't just always assume that everyone lives on a farm or ranch. I know some of y'all watching probably live in the city or the suburbs or something like that, or maybe you just don't have access to property. I'm really bad. I shouldn't just assume things. So can you kind of see what I'm talking about? I got most of this off, but there's still gonna be some that aren't gonna detach, and that's okay. I mean, you can really get tedious about it if you want, and nitpicky and try to get every single one of them off, but honestly, you're just gonna give yourself a heartache. It's snowing elderflowers. See, so like with this flower and this flower, I have kind of run my finger all down them, and this is pretty much as the flowers are gonna come off. So these ones weren't as far along as the other flowers were that I just harvested. So with these ones, I'll probably just like leave them on the tray next to my big pile of flowers right here, just to dry for about a day. And then tomorrow I'll come back and I'll sweep across them again and see if I can get more off. So here is my harvest of my elderflower from these umbels that I collected. Not bad. I think I'm definitely probably gonna make some infused honey with these, and I'll show y'all the process if you're interested in that as well. And then like I like to go through these and see like some of them I missed, like these little stems. I'll just try to pick those little pieces out as best as I can, because like I said, all the parts are toxic except the flowers and the berries. I mean, if you get a couple little pieces in there, it's all right. It's not going to kill you. I mean, obviously you can't get every single piece off because we're not robots, but I'll go through and just pick as many of those little stems out as I can as well. So I'll take y'all into my herb cabinet really quick. Y'all can see I collect glass jars and stuff like that. And all my herbs and all my knickknacks and stuff like that. You can see here I already had some elderflower from that last umbel that I told you I got last week dried, and I've got some daylilies here dried, and some I think that's basil off of the first harvest of my basil outside. But I'm just gonna put this here right now. You can see I got a substantial amount more this week, and I'll probably continue to get a bunch more, but I'll probably dry some of this, and like I said, I'll infuse some honey with it so I can put it in my tea. But I just put it here in a dark, dry spot. You can see this is cedar, and you can see I hang all my herbs up to dry, or some goldenrod. But yeah. Y'all hear the frogs and the dogs barking and the wind. Just a typical night here on the farm in Tennessee. I'm doing some late night feeding. Everything just got a little late tonight. My son didn't get down till a little later than normal. That's okay. Sometimes that's what happens and what we gotta do when we're living on a farm. Dick! So right now I'm calling Deacon. He's the only horse left we have right now since Princess passed, and the 2 donkeys. Give him some grain. He's getting old. He's 32 years old, which is quite old for a horse. So he definitely needs the extra forage. You coming in, buddy? I know it's a little late. Let's just dump his food for him. He's definitely coming in here in a second. Just a bunch of mash. He usually comes right in when he hears the grain bucket. There he is. Hey, old man. You come eat? It's in the stall. Come on. It's in the stall. I put it in the stall. It's in the stall. He smells it in the bucket still. Go on. Looking pretty good for 32, I think. What do y'all think? A little skinnier than unlike him. He's been kind of depressed since his mare passed away here. But it's definitely in better shape than most 32-year-old horses. This is my first horse here. So I obviously have quite a bond with him. I'm going to be quite upset when he's not here anymore on this earth with me. Apparently we've got a little ASS again on my butt. Hey, hey! Just gone away. Oh, these guys are always on my butt. So here's a Jack Mammoth. Neither of them are castrated, so. Hi, Conway Twitty. Hi, Hank Williams. Whoa, I just realized that was not there a couple days ago. That's either a huge snake hole or that's from the groundhog. Finally broke through in his living room right here. I did see two huge rat snakes a couple days ago in my tractor workshop, and it was kind of frightening. And I know they're good, you know, they eat the rats and everything. But it was quite frightening, I'm gonna be honest here. I'm kind of afraid if I was to put my flashlight in that hole, what I would see. It is huge. Do y'all see that, Hank? Your butt is in my way. Hank, come on. I don't see nothing, but that kind of looks like, I don't know, it's like horsehair in there. I'll definitely have to do something about that. This is just massive. I just put a whole bunch of horse poop down it, and it's just really deep. I don't know. I'll have to figure something out. Well, I literally just put 2 whole deep loads of poop down that hole. So hopefully that will be okay right now. There's a temporary fix. Things that you do on a farm sometimes. But I will definitely have to find a more permanent fix. I'll probably have to fill it with gravel and stuff like that, and then kind of move some of the dirt around in here. But I don't know. I can't really tell. We have had a regular groundhog friend that lives in here on a regular basis, and I don't see his hole right now, but oftentimes he'll dig a big huge hole out here right underneath my horse's stall, and then we make a big joke about it, but there's like a sinkhole over here, which right now I have kind of filled in with a bunch of old horse manure that's dried, but a lot of times it will sink right here, and we both say that this is his bedroom and where his wife and his kids are, and his living room is right there, and that's his front door. So what is that? I guess that's where he goes to the bathroom. Ay, ay, ay. Oh man, I'm not gonna have many more days like this, huh? Not forever. It's not gonna last forever. But I'm gonna go inside now, buddy. He's almost done eating. So I'm gonna say good night, y'all. Good night.